I asked this question earlier, Mark. Do you think Michigan State's in a situation where they could compete for a Final Four spot now?
Well, I think, what is there, only 4 undefeated teams left in the country, something like that. There aren't many. And if you're one of them, you're in it till that point. I mean, they have November 21st. They know that win your other games, which aren't going to be too difficult, and then you play the Buckeyes. You win that game, you're in great shape. And it doesn't matter, if you struggled against Purdue or you slid by Michigan or you barely got by Rutgers over the last 3 weeks. It just matters that you're undefeated. And, the College Football Playoff Committee, that's going to – they know that proof is coming in that Ohio State game. So you win in Columbus, you'll get all the respect you want.
Was that game better for Michigan State or worse for Michigan? If I make that question.
That's interesting. I think it's probably better for Michigan State because right now these teams are where everyone expects them to be before the season. Michigan State alive and playing, heading to Columbus in a couple weeks to play for that Big Ten title and maybe playoff berth. And Michigan is a very good team. Harbaugh's made them a couple games better than they were at 5-7 last year. They look like they're headed for an 8-9 win season, and obviously expectations have changed over the last couple weeks. But Michigan's back where people expected before the year.
What was the fill in the blank? Worst loss in the Big House since what?
Worst loss?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of bad losses here. In terms of pain, I think the Appalachian State game in 2007 was embarrassment, and they lost in, maybe it was 2009. They lost to Toledo there, the first MAC loss ever. That was a bad one. But, this was a rivalry game. It was the direction of the program going upwards, and that really was the big thing about this game that was so painful to them because, it could have meant so much. They would have been the team that eyeing Columbus, eyeing playing Ohio State at the end of the year and vaulting into something special. And that's maybe the most painful thing. But they've had bad losses. I mean, between Brady Hoke and Rich Rodriguez over the last 7 years, it's been pretty bad.
I think, Mark, Woody wanted you to say something about the Colorado game.
Les was kind of smirking while you answered that because
the Cordell Stewart pass.
I was in the big house and in the end zone. In the end zone when Cordell Stewart sent it to Michael Westbrook, and I thought I was going to catch the football in the end zone because I was sitting right up against a brick wall in a security chair, and I went, I'm going to catch this ball, and that was 2 touchdowns in 36 seconds, I think. So
yeah, there's been a lot of talk about that, here in the last couple of days about that game. Obviously, I actually used it in my game story. But I think that the difference between that game and this game is that a Hail Mary, as improbable as it is, it's somewhat conventional, I'd say.
Yeah.
And people try them. They hit them once or twice a season. It happens. BYU got one, earlier this year. Nebraska against them last year. This never happens. You never see someone fumble the ball to lose the game in a rivalry game in these improbable circumstances. The ball had to bounce just into the guy's hands. It was already in stride. Everything just hit perfectly for Michigan State and the ultimate horror for Michigan.
I'm going to give you guys each 30 seconds. What Final Four teams, given what you talked about, Mark, what are your Final Four teams today?
Mark, you go first.
Who do you think is going to be in the Final Four looking at it today?
I don't know. I guess I'd go Utah, Ohio State, TCU, maybe, right? Are they up there? Or Baylor? No, I'll go Baylor and Michigan State. Let's put that in fourth.
That's interesting. You left out the SEC. That's why it's kind of a curious question.
And I'm going to go Baylor, TCU, Ohio State, and Utah.
Wow.
Alabama, huh?
I can't believe you guys are leaving Alabama out of there. If LSU or Alabama doesn't get there, the South will rise again. As someone who grew up in the South, I'm just telling you guys.
No, you're probably right, Woody. I could see that, but it's like so many things can happen in these championship games. Look at Alabama a couple of years ago in that Auburn game. That was like this. Some crazy play determined it, right?
Hey, Mark, has Jim Harbaugh been the perfect hire for Michigan?
Oh, yeah. And I think he would have been the perfect hire for anyone, even if he didn't go to their school. Listen, how many times can you get an elite NFL coach to come to a college? Almost never. Because once they're in the NFL, they want to stay. Pete Carroll came back, but that was after he struggled, then he got depleted. I don't know if he's going to leave again. I think it's so rare that a college coach goes there and succeeds that when they do, that they're going to stay.
Yeah, and it was, to me, it was the perfect hire. And I think based on what we've seen this year, he's doing it with somebody else's people. Once he gets his people, I think you're talking about if Urban decides to stay there and Harbaugh's not going to Miami or any of those places, he's in a perfect situation. That could be Bo and Woody all over again, could it, Mark? I mean,
it definitely, yeah. If both of them stay, I mean, I think they both have a tendency to be antsy based on their track record. So that would be kind of interesting to see. I mean, just the mere fact of them staying, I think, would be somewhat surprising.
Yeah, or in Harbaugh's case, people are antsy for him to leave.
And then, no doubt, money's money, right?
Yeah. Mark, thank you very much.
How do people follow you on Twitter, Mark?
Oh, just Mark_Snyder.
Great.
Perfect. Or read them at the Detroit Free Press. Thank you, Mark. Talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, sure. And that segment brought to you by John Elway Chevrolet, Colorado's #1 Chevy dealer.
When you go to buy a car, what do you really want? You probably want a lot of cars to choose from. And you want the dealership's best price. Not some starting price or target price, the best price. And you want it immediately, not after hours of negotiating. And you want a salesperson who doesn't get paid more if you spend more. Because, well, you don't want to spend more. Well, you're in luck. John Elway wants all of those things too. Better yet, John Elway wants you to have all of those things too. Come see us or click on johnelwaychevrolet.com.